It's a warm spring afternoon in 2025, and Marc Marquez, scarred, seasoned, and somehow still smiling, leans against the Ducati garage wall in his red leathers, sweat drying on his brow, eyes focused on the middle distance. Just a few years ago, he wasn't sure if this moment would ever come again. The roar of the grid, the rush of the corner, the sweet sting of tire smoke in the air. For a while, all of it seemed like part of a story that had ended too soon. But now he's leading the MotoGP championship by a mile. And for the first time in years, he's not just surviving, he's thriving. At the heart of every MotoGP race weekend lies the ultimate test of precision and control. The qualifying lap. One lap, no mistakes, no do-overs. It's not about endurance, it's not about race strategy. It's just raw, distilled speed. And nobody has ever been quite like Marc Marquez when it comes to going all out over one perfect lap. But what's changed in 2025 isn't the man, it's the machine beneath him, the Honda. It was all about the entrance, he explains in a candid sit-down with motorsport.com, his tone half mechanical engineer, half poet. If you could get into the corner fast, with control, you carried that momentum all the way through. That's where your time came from. He pauses, raises an eyebrow, then smiles. But Ducati's different. It waits. It breathes. You manage the entrance. Steady hands. Patience. Then you open it up and the bike gives everything back to you on the exit. That's where the time is. The way Marquez talks about bikes isn't just technical. It's intimate, like an artist speaking about brushes or a jazz musician talking about phrasing. He's been inside these machines, emotionally as much as physically. He's lived them, fought with them, won with them. And now he understands something younger riders haven't yet learned. You don't beat a bike into submission, you collaborate with it. It's easy to forget just how meteoric Marquez's rise once was. At 20, he became the youngest MotoGP world champion in history. At 26, he had already secured 6 Premier Class titles, dancing on the edge of physics with a riding style that defied logic and redefined the sport. And then Jerez happened. July 2020, post-lockdown, a high-speed crash, a hastily installed titanium plate in his right arm. A decision to return too soon, days, not weeks. The result? The plate snapped. Another surgery, then another. Nerve damage, muscle deterioration. A career that once felt infinite suddenly looked fragile. When asked what moment he'd erase if he could, Marquez doesn't hesitate. That day in Jerez, he says softly. That comeback. His voice trails off. You can almost hear the crowd noise in his memory. The adrenaline, the stubbornness, the will to prove he was still invincible. It was everyone's fault, in a way, but ultimately the decision was mine, and I paid for it. He taps his right arm with his knuckle. It works, but it's not what it was 5 years ago. It's not magic anymore. Still, he adapted, not by force, but by wisdom. What he lost in physical edge, he gained in strategic nuance. Like a veteran quarterback with a worn-out arm but a sharp eye, Marquez learned to play the long game. He reinvented himself. We're 4 rounds into the 2025 season and the scoreboard doesn't lie. Marquez has won 7 of the first 8 races. The only blemish? A crash in Austin while leading by more than 2 seconds. A rare misstep, but one he brushes off with a shrug and a grin. I was pushing. I wanted to give the fans a show, he chuckles. Sometimes the edge bites back. But it's clear now Ducati has unlocked something in him. Or perhaps he's unlocked something in himself. His move to Gresini in 2024 was already a statement. No longer part of Honda's factory team, no longer the golden boy. He walked away from the team that helped make him a legend. But in 2025, everything changed again. This time as a full-fledged Ducati factory rider. He's no longer just the old champ trying to keep up. He's back at the top, on merit. I feel like I'm racing with my mind more now, he says. Before it was all instinct, now it's about knowing when to use that instinct. Before the interview wraps up, he's asked what advice he'd give to the younger version of himself. The kid in oversized leathers grinning from the top step of the 125cc podium. Marquez exhales deeply, eyes distant. Prepare yourself, he says. Because after that, everything becomes a dream. Then he smiles almost wistfully. Don't change a thing, except one. That one day in Jerez. The rest? Follow your instinct. It'll guide you right. There's something poetic about watching a legend come full circle. Not by reclaiming his past, but by transcending it. Marc Marquez isn't trying to be the 2014 version of himself. He's someone entirely new now. And as the championship continues, as the circuits wind their way through Mugello and Sachsenring, Assen and Silverstone, there's a feeling among fans, paddock insiders, and even his rivals, Marc's not done writing his legacy. He's just picked up the pen again. In MotoGP, there are fast riders, there are champions, and then, every so often, there are those who become something more. Marc Marquez is no longer just chasing victories, he's chasing meaning. And in 2025, he's never looked more alive. In the world of MotoGP, few stories capture the tension between loyalty, legacy, and ambition, quite like the unfolding saga of Pedro Acosta. At just 20 years old, Acosta has become more than just a promising rookie. He's a lightning rod for the future of the sport. And now, Honda, once the most dominant force in Grand Prix racing, wants him to lead their comeback. According to reports from Speed Week, Honda has laid down a staggering offer, 30 million euros to secure Acosta's signature. It's an 8-figure proposal that's turning heads throughout the paddock, a sign that Honda isn't playing around. While the length of the contract hasn't been confirmed, insiders suggest it could be a 3-year deal, an eye-watering 10 million euros per season. That would instantly make Acosta one of MotoGP's highest-paid athletes, rivaling Fabio Quartararo's reported salary of 12 million euros with Yamaha. But this isn't just about money. It's about something deeper: redemption, transformation, and the timeless allure of becoming the cornerstone of a new era. To understand the magnitude of Honda's move, one must first understand the stakes. The Japanese manufacturer has long been a titan in MotoGP history. Champions like Mick Doohan, Valentino Rossi, Casey Stoner, and most recently Marc Marquez have all brought glory to the red and white. But, recent years have been unkind. The RC213V, once a benchmark for power and precision, has slipped into mediocrity. Crashes, complaints, and poor results have defined its recent seasons. The departure of Marquez in 2023 was more than a symbolic break. It marked the end of an era. Now, Honda wants to rewrite the narrative. With major rule changes looming in 2027 and promising early improvements in 2025, the timing feels right. And they believe Acosta is the rider who can carry them back to the top, not just as a talent, but as a transformational figure. KTM isn't taking any of this lightly. The Austrian outfit didn't just give Acosta his MotoGP debut. They nurtured him from his days as a Red Bull Rookies Cup sensation to becoming Moto2 World Champion and now a top-tier Grand Prix rider. There's a familial bond between rider and team, a mutual respect that goes beyond contracts and podiums. Yet even the strongest relationships are tested in MotoGP, especially when performance falters. This season, KTM has struggled to provide Acosta with a competitive package. Vibration issues, lack of top speed, and a bike that just isn't quite there have made for a frustrating start to his debut season. Despite his obvious brilliance, the machinery isn't keeping up, and in a sport measured in tenths of a second, that's a dangerous gap. KTM has Acosta locked in under a multi-year deal, giving them a sense of security. Motorsport boss Pit Bearer has gone on record saying Acosta isn't going anywhere, but behind the scenes there's no denying the pressure. If KTM can't deliver a race-winning machine, and soon, they know they might lose the brightest young star they've ever had. This saga is more than a contract negotiation. It's a snapshot of modern MotoGP, a sport where technology, talent, tradition, and business collide at 350 kilometers per hour. It's about how even the most promising careers are shaped not only by skill on the track, but by timing, choices, and the teams behind them. For fans, it's a delicious drama unfolding in real time.